Hi, hello, welcome or welcome back. I'm really happy to be able to finally sit down and have a chat with all my precious viewers, because it's been a very busy period in my life since my latest episode, but I feel like I'm saying that all the time. Anyway, I'm Dani. I live in Perth, Western Australia, though I'm originally Italian. I've lived here now 3 years. And before living here, I was living in the UK. And well, wherever I go, I take my knitting with me because, that's my hobby, my passion. And luckily, in my new chapter of my life here in Perth, it's turned into my job as well, which is just fantastic. So just a little introduction. If you want to connect with me, you'll find me on Instagram as Anita Suitcase, on Ravelry as DanyUK, and this podcast has got a email address, which is anitasuitcase@gmail.com. If you're in Perth, though, you can meet me every Monday and Tuesday. I work at Calico and Ivy, a beautiful yarn and fabric shop here in the city, and occasionally I teach knitting classes, and now something new is coming up, but I'll talk about that later on. In this episode, I will try and do a quick roundup of my latest finished objects and works in progress. Always too many. I am not talking about any plans because, again, my brain is full of things I want to do. It's just finding the time, and I tend to reshuffle my queue all the time. So I don't want to commit to anything in particular other than finishing some precious whips. And then at the end, I will also show you some new crafts that I've embraced recently and I'm really excited about. It's quite a lot, and thank goodness I've got my precious knitting journal with me. This one is looking really battered because we are nearly at the end of 2025. Would you believe that? So I always take my journal with me. This is where I record my personal notes, my diary, my day-to-day appointments, my family appointments. And I also create some special notes that I really enjoy making and decorating for all my projects. And that helps so much to remember the details because my brain is like a colander. So, yes, I think we could get started, can't we? Talking about works in progress, I must say a couple of them are already quite old in the sense that I did finish them quite some time ago. I'm looking at my diary. This one in particular I'm holding in my hands was completed on the 7th of September, and I haven't had a chance of talking to you about it yet. But here we are. Let's give it a moment of glory. This is my Cœur Royal, a beautiful shawl designed by Melanie Berg. If you are not familiar with Melanie Berg, please go and check her profile on Instagram and Ravelry. She does a lot of beautiful shawls, very, very lovely designs, and she's got quite a lot of very nice garments. In particular, there's a jumper that she knitted. I believe she was raising funds for research against cancer, and it's really spectacular. Go and give her some love. Now, this was one of those knits I just cast on a whim. I had this combination of beautiful yarns that I was really caring about, and they started to be knitted up into a jumper by Anne Wenzel that I wasn't really feeling. So I undid the jumper and kept the yarn and decided I wanted to use it on a shawl because I haven't got a shawl in this color. I hadn't got a shawl in this color. So the yarn, let's talk about it. It's knitted in a combination of fingering weight yarn and mohair. In particular, the mohair are two different colors. This one, as you can see, the one I'm holding together in the top section of the shawl is darker, and it's actually a hand-dyed skein by Julie at Little Woolly Makes in the colorway Delphinium that I got at Bendigo 2 years ago, at the Sheep and Wool show 2 years ago, while the lighter one that I've used in this other section is a Super Kid Silk Mayflower that I got in a yarn swap. I believe that was with my friend Hanne, but now I'm not quite sure. I may be confusing swaps. Anyway, they are both lovely, lovely soft mohair, and they work beautifully with the main color, which is also a yarn I got in a yarn swap with the amazing Marina at Strawberry Patches yarns over in New Zealand. She's got a beautiful podcast. If you don't know her, please go and meet her. She's very talented and she's just a joy to listen to. Now, this shawl was originally designed to be knitted in 4-ply as a lighter, not particularly huge shawlette. As you can see, the size is not very deep. It's quite large, long, but not very deep. My choice was to use these two yarns because, as I said, I had already been working with them and wanted to keep them together. And I'm quite happy with the thickness and softness, and also with the size of it. It's knitted on 4mm needles, and of course, if you do it in only fingering, it will be a bit more flowy and lightweight, especially on 4mm needles. In this case, it is a quite, soft and squishy fabric, particularly due to the use of this sort of textural slip stitch pattern in the main body of the shawl. But what was really catching my eye when I first saw the pattern is this fantastic braid, this fantastic cable that runs all along the body of the shawl. You get to knit the body first, and then you leave the stitches on hold, and you cast on new stitches for the cable, and join it to the body as you go. In the end, you add this really fun and quite cheeky and so sweet ruffle, which I thought would be very tedious to knit because it's long, but actually it was not tedious at all. This is a really warm shawl, so to be honest, I haven't used it so much since it was completed. I think I worn it only once, but I can see it working really well in those colder days in winter. And I think it's very nice to wear, particularly under your big jacket or your big coat, because as you can see, it really hugs the neck very beautifully. You can adjust it in such a way that you can showcase the cable more, and this ruffle lays nice and flat on your chest. So it's really beautiful. When I first finished it, I was a little bit upset about the fact that I couldn't, for the life of me, block this sort of the cast-on bit flat as I would have liked. So it creates a little bit of a bulge there that I was really annoyed about. But the truth is that, as I showed you, once you wear it, that bulge there will only add to the coziness of it and will make it really nice and comfy around your neck. So I'm not mad about it at all. Just some numbers. I used a total of 260 grams of yarn for it, and the final size is 140 by 42 centimeters. I think that's everything about it. I invite you to have a quick look at Melanie Berg's patterns, really, because sometimes I have a feeling, at least from what I see on Instagram and watching other podcasts, that of course I do an awful lot. I have a feeling that some designers get featured all the time, their items get knitted all the time, and are, out, in first line to everybody's attention. But there are so many more that I don't hear being talked about every day that do deserve a lot of love. So that's my message to you today. And I'll just show you my pages on my diary for the Curve Royale. So that's the little mouse that I really loved. I have my ball bands here. I did a quick sketch of the shawl and added some, every one of these stars is like a little note about the, oops, something's falling off. A little note about each of the sections of the shawl. But quick knit, I did it in a month, and yeah, please give it a go. Okay. Hi, editing Dani here. I wanted just to show you a bit more of Marina's yarns because she has just offered you all viewers of this channel an incredible opportunity. If you hop on her website and purchase any of her yarn, fiber, notions, project bags with the code Happy Suitcase, you'll have a 10% discount at checkout. And Marina has also offered to support my channel a little bit out of any sale she'll do with this code. So if you want to give some love and share your support with small makers this Christmas, that's the time and the opportunity for you. Thanks. Now, the next finished object, I'm going in order of, let's say, chronological order of when I finished them, is not in my actually not in my hands, because they were a little gift knits for 2 new babies in my family. My cousins in Italy, 2 of my cousins have had babies very recently. And so I decided to, in occasion of my children traveling to Italy for the holidays, I decided to send them a little gift. And I knitted them these cute hats. Here is the photo. The pattern is the Tegan beanie by Julie Taylor. Of course, all the patterns I will mention will be linked in the description box below. They are so cute. Basically, it's a simple stockinette beanie that you complete, creating a very long I-cord at the top, and then this I-cord gets knotted and creates the little spiky thing on top of the hat, and I love it so much. I know it's been knitted by virtually everybody I know. The yarn, the pattern is free. I may have said that already, and it comes in quite a big size. Range size, still in the babies category, so it's from premature to 2 years old. I knitted one in the size 3-6 months, and that was done, the darker one, the dark blue one, that was done in Hobby Unicorn sock yarn, held double, because the pattern is for decay yarn, and it took up only 28.4 grams of yarn. While the lighter blue one, you can see here, is knitted in 2 strands of Knitting for Olive cotton merino in the colorway, I believe, elephant. I think it's gray elephant or blue elephant, something like that. And it used only 18.9 grams. So, even a mini skein would be ideal to make very quickly. I used 3.5 millimeter needles, and such a sweet baby knit. They were very appreciated, and I got fantastically cute photos of the babies in their hats. After that, it was quite a flurry of, you know, cast-ons and very little time to knit. So yeah, I have just another finished object that was completed 2 days ago. Oh yes, even yesterday. No, Sunday. Today is Tuesday, so it was completed 2 days ago, and there they are. I'm sure you've seen these already quite a few times. I may have already shared, I'm sure I shared photos on Instagram already. These are the Perth socks by Kath Martin, the marvelous Kath Martin at Mindful Melbourne Maker. She started this sock knitting sock designing career. Well, it must be like a year ago now, and she's been also designing beanies now, and her shawl, first shawl was released recently, and she's just a friend of mine. So I only have words of love and appreciation for her and her talent. When she sent out the call for her Perth socks, of course, I couldn't, you know, pass, because as you know, I live in Perth, so, and all her socks are named after Australian cities. And in order to, you know, keep the Perth vibes going strong, I decided to use yarn dyed by an amazing lady here in Perth that you all know, I'm sure. Her name is Terina, and her yarn brand is Love and Speckles. This color is just fantastic. It's a deep teal that she matched together with these little, I don't know, orange and pink. How would you describe it? To me, it just speaks, I don't know, orange and peach ice cream, something like that. So beautiful. Oh, by the way, if you hear some strange noises, I'll tell you why. Sorry if you're getting a little bit wobbly, but there's a baby asleep here near me, and sometimes she snorts a little bit, or, you know, does strange noises. That's Phoenix, by the way, my doggy. I should rather say the baby of the house, because she's so loved and spoiled. She's really like a baby more than a doggy. Anyway, I was saying, beautiful colorways by Terina. I don't think they are for sale on her Etsy shop at the moment, but I'm sure if you talk to her, if you really like this combination, she'll be able to dye them for you again. And the pattern is so fun. All of Kath's patterns are fantastic. They show you a lot of little tricks to improve your and personalize the socks, improve your fit, and, you know, gives you choices about how to create the sock. This one in particular was designed to use with speckled yarn, but you know me, I always take my my licenses, and so I just did, according to her pattern, the little stripe at the top of the cuff. And I'm sure you all know, but in case you don't, when you want the transition from the two colors to be really neat, you just knit the first row. Though you are in a ribbing, in a situation where you're doing some ribbing, you just knit the first row of the new color and then carry on doing the ribbing to make sure you achieve this very crisp line. And then these cables knitted along the leg are super easy to do. You don't need a cable needle, and they give the sock a really good pace, because, you know, you every 4 rows, I think it was, you do the cable, and so it's potato chippy. You want to do another one and another one and another one and never stop. But it's great when you get to the heel. The cables carry on. Oh, how can I show it nicely? carry on all the way on the heel flap. So you've got some textured stitches here, or some slip stitches, to make sure that, you know, this part at the back, which is more prone to get worn out, is nice and sturdy. And then for the foot, you carry on doing your cables only on the top of the foot, of course, and not on the bottom. And of course I did the contrasting stitch, because color for the toe, because, you know, when there's a chance of adding another color, I will always do that, you know me. So yeah, beautiful socks. The only thing I will say is that all this cabling tends to make the socks a little bit snugglier than they would be if they were all stockinette. So probably if I had to knit them again for myself, because these will be my daughter's socks, if I had to knit them for myself, I would go up a size for myself. But you know, it might also be that my hands get quite tight when I do cables. I'm not sure of that. It's my first cabled sock, so let me know what your experience with cabled socks is. In a few numbers, reading again from my fan page on my journal, Perth socks, there we are. And I used a total of 63 grams for both socks. So 8.5 grams for the contrasting color, so a mini nugget of yarn will be enough for that, and 54.5 grams for the main color. I did 58 rows for the leg and 54 rows for the foot. When I say 54 rows for the foot, I mean from where the decreases for the heel flap and gusset end, so it's 54 from here. If you count from, in this case here, where you know you pick up stitches, I think it's 66 for me, or at least for this size, for these socks that are for a size European 37-38. Okay, so in the meantime, Kath has released another beautiful sock. The name is escaping now, but it's really fun because it's got different bands of different stitches throughout. So I'm sure that one is another one that flies off the needle for sure. And I just wanted to add that having completed these, I'm now in a situation where I have no socks on my needles. And while I'm not a sock obsessed knitter, I do like to have a pair on the needle, because they're very good for, you know, when you are just leaving the house and want to grab something to knit on, because you think you may have some time to wait somewhere, or being in the car and you don't want anything tricky. So my next pair is going to be the Serotto socks, that are also a design by a very dear friend of mine, Ali at Fiberbound. She has got a knit along going on as well. I'll add the hashtag here. And so, yes, it's a beautiful, very textural stitch design. And yeah, and I've got the perfect yarn in mind already that I will talk about next time. I think it's just about time to mention, and my pen, my teacher pen here, is here to emphasize the fact. If you haven't noticed, this is kind of a very blue episode, and there's more to come in this color. For some reason, after having been a very pink girl for a very long time, I am now completely drawn to blues, and most recently to greens as well. So you will see these sort of colors, you know, repeated again and again in this episode, and probably in also the next few ones. The one I'm wearing, on the contrary, sorry for not mentioning it at the beginning, is a beautiful design by Anniina of the DanyUK Knit podcast, and it's the Tankar sweater that I tested for her quite a bit of time ago, probably about 2.5 years ago. You can find all the notes in my Ravelry. This is knitted in Fibra Natura Papyrus in 2 colors, as you can see, while most of I tested it for Anniina, and most of the knitters the other testers were doing it in 1 color, but you know me, I had to create some, fun color blocks on the body. I particularly love the neckline and the dropped shoulder of this one. It's just beautiful fit. It's one of those that sometimes I think I should knit again, but we need like 3 or 4 parallel lives, don't we, to knit up all the things. Okay, I would say this is the end of the finished object section, at least as far as knitting is concerned. Works in progress. Now there's a work in progress that I have sort of mentioned in passing previously, but I was never being able to show to you because it was a secret test knit, to be true, for a beautiful designer that I've been following, for a long time and putting in my queue a lot of times. Her name is Julia Wilkens. She is, if I'm not wrong, in the Netherlands. I think she lives in Amsterdam. I may have to double check that. And she is just a very lovely human being, a very creative lady, and her design all have a very modern, sort of contemporary, casual look that really appeals to me. When she sent out this call for a jumper, I somehow just decided to jump on, because I find test knits are very good to, getting to know new knitters and making friends all over the world. And so I did. That's featured on the cover of one of the latest pattern books by Laine magazine, which is called The Art of the Sea. 23 knitwear designs inspired by the Moomins, because the author, the artist behind the Moomins, has had an anniversary, her 80th anniversary, and Laine magazine, Laine Publishing, has decided to devote to her this book. Unfortunately, the book is not in my hands. I hope to manage to sorry, that's the doggy again, to get hold of the book soon, but because there are more than one patterns that I really, really like. But, when Julia sent out the call, I suppose this can be described as a half fisherman rib jumper knitted from the top down with a raglan construction in a stripy fashion. The sample that Julia shared is a stunning, and you see it on the cover of the magazine, a stunning white and red color. So beautiful. But I had to dive deep in my obsession for bright colors, and was also inspired by all these colors you see in this sort of collage that I have created in my journal, and that's the only thing I've shown of the jumper so far. So I went for blue and purple, let's say. Here is my gorgeous sweater. So the yarn I'm using is Bendigo Woolen Mills DK Bendigo Woolen Mills Luxury DK in the colorway Delphinium for the blue and Boysenberry for the purpley pink. I feel like the light is not ideal today. Whenever the light is good in my podcast, I don't know, but I think, you know, the colors look quite true to what they really look like. It starts with a beautiful folded neckline in just stockinette, and then you keep knitting the body and the sleeves in this super squishy half fisherman rib. The particular design choice that Julia did was to basically knit it inside out, so that what you see on the jumper is actually the wrong side of the pattern, because she really wanted to achieve this effect. You know, normally, let you have a look inside. Normally, when you knit your fisherman rib or brioche, all the increases create this effect, like new column of stitches branching out, you know, from the one that's running along the raglan. In this case, they are marked, you know, by they're not sprouting out of this stitch, but they just start abruptly with this, creating this sort of line of stitch of little holes, and the raglan is really, really, you know, very well highlighted. It's a beautiful jumper. I managed to make the deadline for the test knit, which was mid-July, but because all you had to do was doing the yoke and getting to splitting for the sleeves, while after that I sort of took a break, not because I don't love knitting it, I adore knitting it, you know, anything that's brioche, that's like, you know, fisherman rib is my favorite, but I just was as usual distracted by a lot of other things. Now, oh, here is the needle. I'm carrying on working. I have completed the body. It's finished with a beautiful ribbing in that I did in the contrasting color. No, I just did a normal sort of bind off, because this is it will end up being a very heavy, very drapey jumper. So I wanted something that would keep the ribbing together more than, because like the sewn bind off, Italian bind off, it's beautiful, but sometimes can stretch a bit more. So I decided not to do it there. And as far as the sleeves are concerned, the ribbing ended up being in the blue color, because I wanted to maintain the alternation, you know, of colors like that. So now I'm working on the second one, and I'm sure that this boy that's been a long-term companion of me will be really missed once I have finished, you know, and completed the jumper. If you get a chance, go on Ravelry, look at the pattern, and though I think you can't purchase the pattern, you can only purchase it in the book, but there are definitely photographs of what other test knitters did, and they're all beautiful. One specific modification I loved, and I regret not doing in mine, is doing the inside of the neck, because it's folded, so doing the inside of the neck in the contrast color. That would have been beautiful, and it is. I don't remember now who, but one or more than one of the test knitters did that. So yeah, this will be so warm, cozy, and squishy. I can already see myself wearing it a lot next year when I'll go to the Sheep and Wool show, because those are probably the coldest days I experience in my year. So yeah, here is my Too-ticky. I may not have said that I am knitting size 2 on 3.5 millimeter needles. Okay, you'll see it again in the next episode, I'm sure, because I aim at completing it by the next episode. I have a commitment with you, so I'll do that. And then what? Alongside the Too-ticky, the other project that's sort of having all my attention at the moment is a new test knit. Again, I have that vice of test knitting quite a bit. And this is for a lady I follow along very closely and I love, and I've spoken of her so many times, Susanna Kaartinen of the Sanna & Co. design brand. And this jumper I'm showing you today, well, this piece I'm showing you today is a summer tee. I really wanted to knit something new for summer because my preference, of course, and I think I share that with a lot of people, is knitting with wool. But the truth is the wool season here in Perth is very short. So I really wanted something to be that I will manage to wear a lot in the next few months. So I decided to jump on the call for the Anglesea top that Susanna has recently designed. Now, this top is so cute and has got this particular twist of the different construction that really appeals to me. If there's something I can't say no to, is a different sort of construction to the usual, raglan or dropped sleeves or, bottom up or top down, what it is. So this one, as you can see, has got 2 panels running at the front and at the back of the tee. And then from these 2 panels, you pick up stitches and you create, with a clever game of short rows, you create the shoulders and the sleeves. What have I done of it? I've lost the piece that I have already knitted. Anyway, I have so far, well, let me show you this swatch. This is the swatch I have knitted for the jumper. As you can see, it's a very simple stitch pattern because it's just some little rows of eyelets framed by a row of a little like garter bumps. And it'll be light and airy for summer. And this is for me the opportunity of testing also a new yarn to me. New in the sense that I've never knitted with it, but I have seen it on the shelf and sold it to other knitters quite a bit because it's of course from Calico and Ivy. The yarn is called Palette. And it is, I'm looking for my page, I'm not neglecting you. It's a brand, it's a yarn by Isaga. So that's the page for my test knit, Anglesea. That's the ball band. So as you can see, it's 100% cotton and has got this special sort of tape-like construction. I don't know if you can see it at all. I'll try and take my head out of the game. Well, it's a bit like a tape, really. Can you see? There you go. And it does feel, as often cotton does, quite a dry sort of fiber. But I must say, I really feel like these will be so nice to wear in summer. And also the swatch has softened up a bit. And I think it'll be really lovely. Now the front panel has already been completed, disappeared somewhere in this mess. I don't know where it is. And this is the back panel that I'm working on. It goes up, grows really quite quickly. I'm knitting on 3.5mm needles, my C-knit curve, that are really lovely needles, and I'm having a lot of fun with this one. I can't wait to, pick up stitches, because that's what you do. You pick up stitches all along the back and all along the side of the front, and then you keep working flat up and down until I believe in the end you join for the sleeve. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. So that's, and what did I say? What color was I leaning towards? We've got blue again. This is a really soft blue, and I really like it, and I'm pretty sure I'll, be able to match it with a lot of things in my wardrobe this summer. Not long to go. Susanna was very generous with her timeline for this jumper. It's like 3 months for the test knit, but I'm definitely, aiming at completing this one quickly. So these two are the things I'm giving the most love to: Too-ticky sweater and Anglesea top. I also wanted to share with you this new thing I've decided I'm kind of doing quite often with my projects, that is breaking down the sections I am working on and just sort of ticking off the various things that I have completed. So I've got front done, back, right side, left side, blocking. So I will sort of pace myself, and give myself little deadlines to complete. I find it quite fun. The other works in progress I've got are not very active at the moment. I will just flash them just because I love them, because they're beautiful colors, because they're beautiful things, and if you are not quite sure what to cast on next, can I influence you? So one of them is this one that I've shown on this podcast previously, and this is gonna be one of the loves of my life, of my knitting life, of course. This is the Scrappy Yoke jumper sweater by Olga Putano that I'm knitting in a combination of this green, like olive green yarn, and the bloom, I think it's called mini skein set by Louis and Lola yarns, that is from 2024, I think. I love it so much, but I just decided to give it a little break because I wanted to complete the Too-ticky, considering the book has been released, and working on something summary. But as soon as the Too-ticky is done, this one will, be worked on constantly, all the time. And another works in progress that, you've seen all over the place is my Stephen West MusiKAL. This year is called the MusiKAL or MusiKAL Shawl. I have a page for it, but once again, I am not a MusiKAL gal. That's my page. I've done a little sketch of the first section, and that's actually all I've done of this shawl. Here it is. I showed it in my vlog. The latest thing I uploaded was not a regular podcast, but a vlog of a little break my husband and I took in October, when we went to visit the botanical garden not far from Perth, and then the town of Yoke. So I speak quite a bit about this one in one of the sections of that vlog. It's still here, still at the first clue, not because I'm not interested or I'm not entertained, or, I will complete this one, but I just can't be pushed. I just can't have somebody giving me deadlines for my knits. I can't follow, the crowd. And I have loved being part of the Instagram group that Kat and Mindful Melbourne Makers has created, and seeing everybody's shawls. They are all fantastic. And as it usually happens every year, it's been a bit of a journey following along the design. Like I was like wowed by the first clue, and then sort of relieved when I saw the second, and then perplexed when I saw the third, very perplexed, and then really astonished and pleased when I started seeing, you know, all the finished objects. If you're working on it or you want to cast it on, I invite you to follow the vlog, to go and watch the vlogs that, again, Kath has created. You'll find them on the Mindful Melbourne Maker channel, where she talks about each clue. I think she shares very good suggestions, and I aim at rewatching the individual ones when I start the clue. So I'll watch the clue 2 before I start clue 2, but that's happening a bit later along the line, when again my needles will be a bit more free. Theoretically, as my friend Gayan at Fibermates for last year's Shawl make along, I will aim at completing it before the new design comes out. And I really want it because I love the colors, blue and green again. I love the colors. Here is sort of the combination of colors that I've got, and I really want a shawl in these colors, and I think it will be really striking. Yeah, another thing to work on in the future. So yes, I think that's quite enough on my needles, isn't it? Now, as promised, I have a final section which is a little bit out of character for me, because normally this podcast is just only dedicated to knitting. The trouble is, as much as I've tried to resist the temptation, working at Calico and Ivy and seeing all the amazing things my colleagues are making, and the wonderful community of makers who comes to shop and to craft there, is sort of giving me the itch to try some different crafts, particularly sewing and maybe a bit of quilting. And so that's what I've done. I have sewn my first skirt. Here it is. And of course, it's a rainbow of colors. There it is. I will enter a little bit of a recording, a b-roll, to show you, you know, how it looks on me. It is a beautiful maxi skirt in this fantastic fabric. Let me grab my journal page to tell you all the details. The fabric, of course, is available at Calico and Ivy, and is it's the window box in the colorway Preppy of the Garden Variety Collection by Anna Maria Horner. That's my page on my diary. There it goes. A little bit of collage as usual, and a little bit of drawings and some notes. Particularly this whole page is full of notes about how differently I should do the things and how better I can improve it. But the truth is, I really am a strong head, because what would you do if you had to sew your first garment? You'd go and get a pattern and follow the instructions dutifully. And I didn't do that. I didn't even follow a pattern. I just decided to sew up a fully gathered skirt with a waistband, not even, you know, an elasticated band, and a, you know, like that opens up like that, without any pattern. And, you know, at the end of the day, it isn't terrible. I think I could have done things better. There's only one seam at the back, and there it is. I've done a French seam on the inside because I haven't got an overlocker, so at least it's neat inside. And I've done a bit of hand sewing, hand stitching there to sort of hide the raw hem on you know, on the spot where the skirt opens. True is, I'm also missing the words to describe this because I'm not a sewer. I've just given it a go. It's a bit wide. I should have made the waistband a couple of centimeters smaller, but it's okay because I like to tuck in, or at least do the half tuck of my jumpers. And you know, it gives me quite a lot of fun, of joy to wear it. And yeah, now I have also received a very unexpected gift by my cousin in the UK. She sent me a pattern by Merchant and Mills, so for a pair of pants, without knowing that I was having, you know, my first sewing attempt. So yeah, I think I'll have to try and make those next when I get a minute, because at the moment, as far as sewing is involved, I think my priority is with making a few little Christmas presents. And this leads me to talk about another little craft I've made, but I first need to check the time. Sorry. Yeah, I need to rush because I need to go and get my daughter very soon. Anyway, another couple of things I wanted to show you. I also came home one day with a little bundle of beautiful fabrics by the Ruby Star Society brand. And I just decided I wanted to have a go at making a star block quilt. Well, a star quilt block, which is not, of course, the easiest of all the quilting techniques. And I started cutting and piecing the pieces together, and I was not happy at all. And as I didn't want to spoil the beautiful fabric, I told myself, okay, you can have another go, cut everything again and seam everything again, but with a different fabric. Let's not, you know, ruin the beautiful one. And so I just decided to grab some Christmas fabrics, and that's what I did. Ta-da! That's my first star block. And yeah, it isn't perfect. There are a few, you know, spots where, you know, it's quite untidy. You know, here the points don't really match. But having said that, I'm delighted with it because it's the first one I've ever made. Well, sort of the first complete one. The first was just an attempt. And I think it's looking delicious. So I've added some wadding at the back, and I will turn this one in a little hanging decoration that I'm planning to send to my mother-in-law in Italy. Isn't it cute? I love it. I love it. I love it so much. So that's the one thing. Very last thing I want to mention is that another new thing in my life is that I have started cooperating with a beautiful business here in Perth called Studio Subi. The owner is called Connie. She's really, really lovely. And she organizes craft classes of all sorts, from manga to Japanese handwriting to you name it. She organizes it. And of course, I've done the first class to teach basic knitting with her. But you must know that in another life of mine, I was a very keen cross stitcher. And so I sort of talked with her about this, and I have decided to set up also a little cross stitching class for absolute beginners. It's on the Studio Subi website if you're in Perth or you're interested in attending. And so I have a couple of samples that I have stitched up for this class and for another event we had a few weeks ago, which was basically just a bunch of girls meeting up for a night out and wanting to try a new craft. So that's the little cacti pattern that I did with the girls at the party. I think it's really, really cute. And if you're interested, I can share the link with you. It's from this free pattern, Tiny Modernist. It's a free pattern online. You can just download it. And now for December, the class I'm doing on the Phoenix, sorry, that was the dog. I have stitched up another little decoration, because the next cross stitch class I'm doing will be Christmas themed. And ta-da! That's it. A very, very cute candy cane. We haven't got an awful lot of time at the class, so, you know, we can only do, especially with beginners, little things. And my plan is that if somebody's really struggling or the time is not enough to complete the whole design, what I will do is provide these little bows to attach, you know, if you can't finish the green bit. It would be super, super cute to finish it with a little trim of pompons around it and hang it in your house for Christmas. So, well, if you're interested, or you know somebody who wants to try a very relaxing crafting technique, why don't you join us? I'm so excited about all these things, you know, because we love everything that's fiber art, everything that's colorful, everything that, you know, we create with our hands here. And I'm sure you do too, if you're here to listen to me. So yeah, I think that's everything for today. As I said, I need to rush off and go and pick up my daughter and carry on with the afternoon activities. But it's been an absolute pleasure to chat to you. I hope you're all well and you are finding joy and comfort in your crafts. Let me know if, rather than knitting, there's something else that really sort of, you know, bringing enthusiasm in your creative life, and leave me a comment. I'd love to chat with you and know more about my viewers. So happy crafting, I'll say this time, and happy knitting to you all. Bye.